Hi, I'm Steve Moriarty from MoreGems.com and TanzaniteJewelryDesigns.com. Today I want to show you through preforming this piece of rough. It's a 60 karat piece of rough that I want to cut next. So I'm just going to show you what the process is for determining what you're going to cut out of this. So the first thing you have to do is determine the clarity of the piece of rough that you're looking at. This one has some nice windows that you can easily see into it, but still you may want some assistance with some fluids. When the surface is broken up a little more, or you can't see into it well, as most rough material is. Some things you can use are wintergreen oil. Available on Amazon. This is good for low refractive index materials. And then there's also methylene iodide, which is good for higher refractive index materials. Sapphires, it's perfect for. So things with higher refractive index, you might want to use methylene iodide. But the wintergreen oil will work on all materials, and it's pretty safe to use because it's something you can use on your skin, and whereas the methylene iodide is a little more caustic. So in smaller rough, I use something like this and actually fill it up with the oil and immerse the stone in it. And then you can take a light and actually see well into the gem, so you can identify the inclusions. So once you know where the inclusions are, then you can start preforming the material. This particular stone is completely clean. It's got some oddities to it. One thing about it, I mean, it is shaped that this would be the culet of the stone. It's a natural V, so it helps yield. You know, people talk about blocky rough, and sometimes blocky rough, which is like a square block, is the worst yield you're going to get out of material. But this has a real nice shape for a culet, and there is this kind of hump over here that I was just going to grind it off. But I think after looking at it a little more, I may try and saw it off and get a piece of material that we can actually cut from that piece right there. Because this is what the planned table is. This is the culet down here, and this material up here is pretty much waste. So you either grind it off and literally waste it, or you try and saw it off. You know, the problem with sawing off is if you make a bad saw cut, you lose material off the main stone, which is where your value is. So you have to be careful that you're not wasting the big stone to get a little stone out of the side of this. So you have to determine whether to grind it off or saw it off. So our next step is actually try and saw this off. Well, we didn't get much. You can probably cut something out of there, maybe a carat stone in there. But, you know, I don't think I damaged this or lost any weight off this, so this is just a bonus, and Yeah, I say maybe a carrot stone, probably light, but better than grinding it away. So I didn't get much in this cutoff, but it actually weighs 5 carats and may cut a carat and a half. Doesn't look like it'll be really good color, but carat and a half stones, $400 stone that I was going to grind away. This weighs 5.5. This one still weighs 51 carats. We started at about 60, so we lost maybe 3 carats in the sawing process, and I didn't waste anything out of this piece by sawing too far. So it actually worked out well. So this is our piece of rough currently, and this will be the table of the stone. So what we have to do now is create enough material for a crown. Because if this is the culet, this material, we have to get this so there's enough material up at the top for a crown. So I'm going to grind on what is the girdle of the stone and try and give me some crown material. Once I've done that, it will determine, I'll look at it, and then I'll determine what the ultimate shape of this piece of rough will be. So I'm using about a 400 grit lap here. And I'm going to keep in mind where my culet is and start cutting. So you can see what I'm cutting, and this for a crown is still not enough material, so I've got to cut into it more. So the plan of preforming a piece of rough is getting rid of the material that can't be used, determine where your culet is, where your table is, and then create enough material for a crown is what we're doing now. So I'm trying to keep the table of the stone perpendicular to the lap while I'm creating a girdle and a crown. You can see what I'm doing here. There's still not enough material for a crown. Close on this side to what I need. Whoops.
Oh, there it is. That's the ball that cracked that was on the way.
So we're close to having enough material. There's probably a little short on crown material here, but we're somewhat close. This section here, I'll probably have to cut in a little more. The girdle could run right through there, but I still think I need a little more crown material there. So here's what we've got left. You know, this is kind of what the ideal shape to get the greatest yield would be, but determining what to cut from that to be the next step. You know, this preforming has got me to where I could cut this shape and it would be the best possible yield. Now you have to look at it and determine what will be a saleable shape out of this piece. So after looking at this a little bit, the options are cut a freeform. It's shaped exactly what you see here. Not ideal, but we'll get the most yield out of it. Or I can kind of cut this tip off and I could get a symmetrical, like a kite shape. Kite, if we had it like this, you just cut this corner off and you'll be more symmetrical and maybe more saleable, you know, and that may be the route with this. You know, if this were an amethyst or something less expensive, I would absolutely do that. But we're cutting a couple of carats off, and in the case of this material, you know, a couple of carats is $700-800, maybe $1,000. So that's something I'll have to determine yet, just what I want to do with this. But those are my options. Thanks for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to see more lapidary tips and tricks. I'm Steve Moriarty from MoreGems.com.